faithfully delivering value by interpreting the world's best books. Hello, this is Sally talking books. Today, the book we're interpreting for you is The Truth About Pain. Are you troubled by chronic pain? Welcome to leave comments and share your experiences in the comments section. When it comes to pain causes, most people's first thought is physical injury, like cuts, fractures, or organ issues, which all trigger pain. People generally believe that once the injury heals, the pain naturally fades away. This view is often right, but sometimes we feel pain without knowing where the body's problem is. And many long-lasting chronic pains are like this, such as migraines, back pain, chest pain, and so on. Some folks go through tons of tests with normal results, so they just take painkillers or rest. But these treatments aren't ideal, and many can't work or live normally due to chronic pain. Take the UK. About 1/3 to half of people have chronic pain, and it's the top reason for sick leave there. The author, Monty Lehman, points out that people can't find chronic pain's cause due to a fundamental misunderstanding. Pain doesn't always mean physical injury. Pain is actually the body's protector. It warns us of potential dangers. Only by seeing it this way can we grasp chronic pain and find proper treatments. Lemon is a doctor, science writer, and Oxford researcher. His work was shortlisted for the Royal Society Science Book Prize and won the 2020 Royal Society of Medicine Pain Paper Award. On some of this part, Lemon's mother, race, sleep. This book has 12 chapters and 240,000 words. Lehman uses the latest research to analyze pain's generation and role, cover factors affecting it, and suggest chronic pain treatments. Next, I'll break down the book's main content into 3 parts for you. First, what's the nature of pain? Second, what factors affect pain perception? Third, how to treat chronic pain. Let's start. Part 1. What is the nature of pain? The author believes pain is a sensation from the brain in response to external stimuli.
Pain warns us of potential dangers, pushing us to avoid injury and seek early treatment.
But pain's warning can be wrong and might not reflect reality. To understand this point, let's first look at how pain is produced. On the nerve endings in the human body, there's a type of receptor that reacts to harmful stimuli. Neurologists call them nociceptors. When nociceptors detect specific external stimuli, like being burned by fire, cut by something, or hit, they generate neural signals. The neural signals travel along the body's nerve pathways to the brain. The brain analyzes the damage signals, and if it thinks the body might be in danger, it produces pain. By observing brain reactions to pain through MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, scientists have found that there isn't a single pain center in the brain.
Pain is a neural network response involving multiple brain regions.
When people feel pain, different brain regions, including those for emotional cognition and memory, become active simultaneously. If we think of the brain as the body's defense center, the different brain regions are like intelligence departments under it. The defense center must comprehensively analyze the current situation based on information from the intelligence departments and produce corresponding pain based on the level of danger. Where's the danger? End quote. The author gives a personal example. Once, he was playing cricket with friends on the beach, running over a pebble-strewn shore, and suddenly felt a sharp pain in his sole. He instinctively thought that the sole was scraped by a pebble. He felt it wasn't a big deal, and the pain quickly disappeared. After 10 minutes, he noticed blood gushing from his sole. Upon closer look, it turned out a fish hook had pierced it, and only then did he feel significant pain. Then he started thinking about how to handle it. He thought about how painful pulling out the hook would be, and that there might be bacteria on it, causing infection. With these thoughts, he felt the pain growing more intense. From being hooked to discovering the hook, and then considering how to handle it, the injury didn't change, but the pain sensation gradually worsened. This is because after receiving signals from nociceptors, the brain made different judgments about the situation. And right after the injury, he didn't see the fish hook, only the pebbles on the beach. Plus, he often came to this beach and never experienced any danger. Based on information from vision and memory, The brain concluded that the current feeling was just a pebble scrape, not dangerous, so it only produced low-level pain. But afterward, when the author personally saw the fishhook stuck in his soul and thought about the bad consequences of wound infection, this new information made the brain realize that the current situation was quite dangerous. Thus, the brain also raised the danger level, producing more intense pain. From this example, we can see that we can't measure the severity of an injury by the pain level because everyone interprets injuries differently, even serious ones. As long as the person themselves thinks it's no big deal, the pain might not be strong. The author encountered a young man who was stabbed in the abdomen during a fight. The young man felt no pain at all and instead pointed at the wound, boasting to the author, "Whoa, don't I look super cool?" Conversely, if the person thinks they've suffered a serious injury, regardless of the actual situation, they will feel intense pain. In 1995, a British construction worker stepped on a 15-centimeter long nail. It went straight through his left boot, and he was in such agony that doctors had to inject him with sedatives and strong painkillers. Oh, you. But when the doctors removed the boot, they discovered the nail had passed between his toes. The worker had no actual injury. He only saw the nail through the boot and assumed his foot was pierced, so he felt intense pain. Oh, that's... Although pain can't accurately measure injuries, most of the time, pain, especially short-term pain, is quite reliable. Short-term pain refers to pain caused by external stimuli that disappears as the injury heals. If we feel pain in a certain part, it's likely that part is injured. It's precisely by relying on pain's reminder that we can detect danger early and avoid further injury. But there are a few people worldwide who lose pain sensation due to congenital or acquired reasons. They struggle to detect bodily injuries, resulting in being scarred all over and even dying from it. In a village in northern Pakistan, there was a 13-year-old boy named Navid. He and many of his relatives were congenital pain insensitivity patients. Even if stabbed with a knife, they wouldn't feel pain. Because they can't detect injuries, some had severe fractures, and some chewed off the front of their tongues without noticing. Including Navid, none of these people lived to adulthood. Scientists analyzed this family's DNA and found that specific gene mutations caused their nociceptors to have almost zero sensitivity, unable to generate neural signals from external stimuli. They naturally couldn't form pain in the brain. Besides genetic mutations, acquired diseases can also cause pain insensitivity. Peter is a diabetic patient. Diabetes causes nerve necrosis, preventing nociceptor signals from reaching the brain, resulting in loss of pain sensation. Peter enjoyed walking in the suburbs. Continuous exercise gradually wore down his foot bones until they completely fractured. But Peter didn't notice this process at all until one day when he found his left foot so swollen he couldn't fit into shoes. Then went to the hospital. Doctors found Peter's right foot also had issues, a 3-centimeter diameter ulcer where bone was visible. Such ulcers can be triggered by any minor wound. If detected and treated early, it wouldn't be dangerous. But if neglected, amputation might be necessary. All right, let's summarize Part 1. Pain is a neural network response involving multiple brain regions. The body's nociceptors generate neural signals upon detecting external stimuli. MSR CAP. After neural signals reach the brain, it assesses danger levels using input from different brain regions to produce pain. Since the brain's judgment can be flawed, pain can't accurately measure injury severity. Nevertheless, pain still plays a crucial protective role. Earlier, we mentioned that the same injury causes different pain levels in different people. So what factors actually affect pain perception? In Part 2, we'll explore this deeper. The author mainly introduces 4 factors. The first factor is attention. When deeply focused on something, a person's perception of other things diminishes. For example, when absorbed in reading, you might not hear background noise. The same applies to pain. The author once played a game so intently that he felt nothing wrong until afterward, when toe pain struck. Looking down, he found his toe bitten bloody by his cat. An even more extreme example is warfare. Historical battlefield records show many soldiers feel no pain during combat, even with severed limbs. The author believes this stems from soldiers' combat focus, plus the brain prioritizing survival over lost limbs. If a soldier can't fight due to injury pain, they'd likely be killed by enemies. So for survival, the brain blocks pain signals and releases pain-relieving chemicals. In reality, there are many simple tricks to distract attention and ease pain. When drawing blood from patients, the author asks questions like their medical history, favorite vacation spots, etc. As long as the patient starts thinking and doesn't focus on the blood draw, their felt pain decreases significantly. Other scientists use more advanced methods. Innovative professional tone. A VR expert at the University of Washington developed a game called Snow World to relieve burn patients' pain. Burn patients, after putting on VR goggles and noise-canceling headphones, enter a moonlit snowy world. They see mammoths rolling in snow, penguins zoning out under ice cliffs, and can throw snowballs at nearby animals. When hit by snowballs, the animals turn into beautiful snowflakes drifting away with the wind. Kaufman found that after playing this game, burn patients reported 30% to 50% less pain on average. The second factor affecting pain perception is cognition, whether people see pain as danger or a path to reward. The perceived cost influences pain. Pain is usually uncomfortable. People want to escape it, but sometimes pain can feel pleasurable. Some love running marathons, where lactic acid buildup causes soreness in later stages, but many long-distance runners enter euphoric states. Where does this pleasurable pain come from? It relates to how people perceive pain. As mentioned earlier, pain warns us of danger. But sometimes we clearly know pain doesn't mean danger. For example, marathon runners see finishing as an incredible achievement, breaking limits and gaining recognition. Here, people view pain as the cost of reward. The brain releases dopamine, bringing pleasure and enhancing reward craving, which focuses attention away from pain, naturally reducing it. And meanwhile, dopamine stimulates the brain to secrete more pain-relieving chemicals, helping achieve goals better. With these combined effects, people still feel some pain, but overall experience pleasure. The author further points out that sometimes people can experience pleasurable pain even without gaining rewards. Take eating spicy food. Spiciness isn't a taste, but a form of pain sensation. Capsaicin stimulation on the tongue makes nociceptors think it's being burned, triggering pain. Though spiciness is pure pain, many people love eating spicy food. Why is that? The author believes that while spicy food causes pain, it causes no actual harm. It's a safe danger. Knowing the body sends danger signals without real consequences creates a sense of control and safety, leading to pleasure. This principle resembles watching horror movies. People know they're fictional and cause no real harm.
So while scary scenes frighten, some precisely enjoy this thrill, finding it exciting and pleasurable.
The third factor affecting pain perception is emotion. Pain isn't just sensory but emotional. Pain and negative emotions are closely linked since both are the brain's self-protection alerts. When we feel fear or anxiety, it signals potential danger. The author analogizes that negative emotions act like gasoline to fire for pain. When damage signals combine with negative emotions, the brain perceives high danger and produces more intense pain. In a 2001 experiment, researchers randomly showed participants triangle and rectangle icons. 10 seconds after seeing an icon, participants received varying heat stimuli on their hands. Triangles corresponded to mild heat that didn't cause pain. Rectangles corresponded to random heat, sometimes mild, sometimes painful high heat. After a while, seeing rectangles made participants anxious and fearful since they didn't know which heat was coming. Participants widely reported that after seeing rectangles, even mild heat felt more painful than with triangles. MRI scans showed that seeing rectangles activated brain regions for emotion and pain intensity, proving the heightened pain was real, not illusion. And beyond anxiety and fear, sadness also worsens pain. And in another experiment, researchers played participants an orchestral piece titled Russia Under the Mongol Yoke. This piece is famous for evoking strong sadness in listeners. To intensify sadness, participants read negative self-evaluations like, "My life is a failure," or "I have no friends." Simultaneously, participants received heat stimuli on their left arms. After this phase, researchers played Dvorak's uplifting New World Symphony, while participants read neutral evaluations and received identical heat stimuli. Researchers observed that during sadness, brain regions linked to pain showed heightened activity. The participants also reported feeling more pain from heat stimuli when sad. The fourth pain factor is social interaction. Humans are social animals. Children need adult care to survive. Even as adults, we still need others' help in work and life. Social isolation threatens survival and can cause pain. University of California researchers designed a video game to study social isolation's pain effects. Participants played virtual catch with two players, actually AI. Post-game, they passed balls with the AIs. Later, the AIs exclusively passed to each other, deliberately excluding participants, while MRI scanned brain reactions. They found exclusion-activated pain-related brain regions, proving social rejection causes literal heartache. This isn't metaphorical, but actual physical pain. Researchers termed this socially triggered pain social pain. Post-game, participants received physical pain stimuli. Results showed those sensitive to social pain were more reactive to physical pain. They experienced intensified pain or negative emotions, confirming social and physical pain share neural mechanisms. Social isolation triggers pain, while healthy social connections can effectively ease it. In 2010, Oxford psychologists discovered teamwork boosts pain tolerance. Psychologists recruited 12 Oxford rowers for 2 tests, each rowing 45 minutes on machines, first solo, then with 7 others as a team. After each test, psychologists placed blood pressure cuffs on rowers' arms. The cuffs induced ischemic pain through incremental pressure. Despite identical rowing intensity, post-group rowing pain tolerance was nearly double solo sessions. Psychologists suggest group rowing makes goals feel more meaningful, driving full effort, triggering more dopamine release. As noted earlier, dopamine stimulates pain-relieving chemicals, enhancing post-exercise tolerance. The author contends virtually all social activities, singing, dancing, religious rituals, movie watching, can relieve pain. These activities boost pain-relieving chemicals and divert attention from discomfort. Thus far, we've covered factors affecting pain perception. Previous examples focused on short-term pain. In fact, these factors also impact chronic pain. Per International Classification of Diseases, pain lasting over 3 months is chronic pain. It's also termed persistent pain. Some chronic pain stems from ongoing illness or unhealed injuries, but often persists despite healed injuries. This book addresses the latter, where chronic pain becomes a standalone condition, not just a symptom. Why does pain persist after healing? The author argues hypersensitive brains misinterpret safety as danger for maximum protection, perpetuating pain. Simply put, chronic pain is the brain's faulty alarm from perceived insecurity. Take lower back pain as an example. When it first appears, it might genuinely be from an injury like a sprain or herniated disc. If the patient doesn't see it as serious and follows medical advice, once healed, the pain disappears. But some sensitive patients constantly worry about permanent damage affecting their lives. Now, even without pain, they move cautiously, always monitoring their back. Terrified of re-injury, this focus reinforces the neural pathways transmitting pain signals, making them easier to activate. The result? An oversensitive brain misinterprets normal movements as dangerous, generating pain. As pain recurs, patients fixate more, breeding greater anxiety and fear. They avoid socializing, fearing pain triggers, isolating themselves. As mentioned, these elements intensify pain, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. At this stage, back pain becomes the brain's habitual response, not an injury symptom.
Even healed, minor movements activate pain networks, cementing chronic pain.
Studies show distinct brain activity changes when acute pain turns chronic. In 2013, Northwestern University researchers tracked acute back pain patients for a year. Within a year, some patients' pain vanished completely with treatment. In the mid, others developed chronic pain despite healed injuries.
Comparing both groups revealed stark differences in brain activity patterns.
Chronic pain patients showed hyperactive emotion-related brain regions, amplified nociceptor signals, and weakened pain inhibition. All right, summarizing part 2. Many brain-related factors influence pain. These include attention, pain perception, emotions, and social relationships. For some healed patients, pain persists because hypersensitivity from focus, amplified by other factors, makes pain a habitual brain response. Even in safe situations, the brain still perceives danger, sending false alarms and producing persistent pain. Since chronic pain stems from the brain's insecurity, treatment focuses on making it feel safe to stop false alarms. Now, in part 3, we'll cover chronic pain treatments. When discussing pain factors, we mentioned methods like distraction and social activities. Both help the brain feel safe and treat chronic pain. Beyond these, the author introduces 4 more methods. First is exercise. Many patients reduce activity fearing pain, ironically making the brain view the body as fragile and hypersensitive. Through consistent exercise, the brain gradually recognizes the body as healthy and safe, easing chronic pain. Additionally, as noted earlier, exercise triggers pain-relieving chemicals, providing relief after sustained activity. However, patients may feel discomfort during exercise. They must understand this isn't injury, but the brain's habitual response. To maintain consistency, start with gentle activities like swimming, yoga, or Tai Chi to gradually build strength, flexibility, and coordination. As physical state improves, increase intensity with higher difficulty exercises like jogging or weight training. The second method is deep breathing. Deep breathing effectively relaxes the brain, reducing tension and anxiety while boosting security. Find a relaxing spot, sit or lie down, close eyes and mouth, then inhale slowly through your nose for 5 seconds, expanding your abdomen. Hold for 1 second, then exhale gently for 7 seconds.
The author recommends 3 to 5 sets daily, with 10 to 15 breaths per set.
This is a chronic pain treatment method. The third method is sleep. Calming an insecure brain requires ample rest. Sleep is optimal rest. Insomnia and chronic pain are deeply interconnected, forming a self-reinforcing cycle. Survey data shows that 3/4 of chronic pain patients have poor sleep quality, while half of insomnia patients have chronic pain. Chronic pain can cause insomnia. So, this is understandable, but why does insomnia cause chronic pain? Scientific research indicates that insomnia increases the body's sensitivity to pain, making it more likely to send damage signals. Additionally, insomnia reduces the brain's ability to alleviate pain. Other studies have found that insomnia causes inflammation, which can also trigger pain. To improve sleep quality, the author suggests setting a fixed bedtime and ensuring the bedroom is dark and quiet. Before bed, do relaxing activities like deep breathing and keep electronics like phones outside the bedroom. The fourth method for chronic pain is psychotherapy. As mentioned earlier, negative emotions play a crucial role in pain becoming chronic. And through psychotherapy, we can reduce pain-related negative emotions and make the brain feel safe. The author introduces 2 psychotherapies. First is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Many patients hold unrealistic negative beliefs about pain, thinking it'll never improve. They believe pain makes them incapable of doing anything, leaving life and work hopeless. These thoughts create overwhelming negative emotions, making the brain feel insecure and perpetuating chronic pain. CBT examines the credibility of these beliefs, increases pain understanding, helps patients realize pain isn't as terrifying as imagined, ultimately reducing negativity. The second psychotherapy is acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. ACT views pain as a real sensation that can't be instantly eliminated. The more patients try to eradicate pain, the more they ruminate and generate negative emotions. This in turn worsens the pain. ATT advocates that when pain occurs, patients shouldn't treat it as an enemy, but coexist peacefully with an open attitude, allowing pain to naturally arise and fade. Through this process, pain tolerance strengthens, while reduced negativity lessens pain intensity. Over time, the brain gains security, viewing pain as manageable rather than severe, empowering patients to cope and live normally. Well, to summarize part 3, the main approach to treating chronic pain is making the brain feel secure to stop false alarms. We can actively participate in exercise to help the brain recognize the body as healthy and safe, no longer seeing normal activities as threats. We can also use deep breathing and sleep to relax and rest the brain, reducing tension and anxiety. Through psychotherapy, we can reduce pain-related negative emotions. With that, we've nearly covered the truth about pain in this book. The author believes pain relates not just to the body, but also to emotional, cognition, and life circumstances. Most doctors treat pain solely as a physiological issue, viewing it as bodily injury. This perspective works for short-term pain, but fails to treat chronic pain. Only by viewing pain through a broader lens can we understand chronic pain's causes and truly cure it. After listening to this episode, what useful methods have you learned? Welcome to leave your comments below. All right, that's the truth about pain. That concludes our interpretation of this book. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.